Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Articulate Thoughts. Today is the first day of February in 2017, and I'm blown away. The time is just flying by so quick. Having a really good time and just making all these decisions on all these opportunities that are popping up, and just enjoying the ride. And yeah, so I had so many different ideas of what the topic I was going to talk about today, but I Skyped with a friend last week, and we decided to just kind of do something fun and record. So he also has a video blog, and we're gonna both record a video on the same topic and just kind of see how they're different, or just what kind of experiences we share. So I'll definitely post a link whenever I get his video gets posted. I'll post a link on this video on the comment section in Facebook. So um, the topic is comparing beginners to masters, and just talking about that uncomfortable situation when someone's starting something new and you just completely suck at it. And I think this is one of the things that kind of scare people into trying new things. I definitely had experienced that experience many times in a variety of ways. But I feel since 2010, I really put a conscious effort to challenge myself and really focus on the things that were important to me. And as a result, I was much more motivated. I did a lot more work because I was doing things that mattered to me. Um, and then things just gradually built up. And then in 2014, I made the decision that I was going to pursue this endeavor of leaving my hometown and starting a new life somewhere else. So I put everything down, dropped everything, which is really hard because I was in a project doing the creating a music scene essentially in Mississauga, and that project meant a lot to me, and it was great gaining traction. We were getting new potentials for different venues and opportunities to do more events, but it just didn't feel good and didn't get the green light from my instincts. So instead, I dropped everything and went inwards and just spent all my time earning money to save up to start a new life. And this was a really very big challenge for me. I had to change everything in my life, and yeah, ended up packing everything, and then eventually found myself in Calgary. I had no job. I didn't have a place to stay. Um, no social circle. Had an aunt, an uncle, and two cousins that live here, and they helped me out quite a bit. So very grateful for that. But other than that, like it was just me, trying to figure life out, and it was a very challenging time. I had to do a lot of things that were out of my comfort zone. Um, so I think like over the past few years, I've really developed this habit of becoming comfortable in uncomfortable situations and realizing it's just temporary, and it's just a matter of going through the process. And a lot of times, my imagination makes it much worse than it really is. So if I just could just get past that and just go through with it, and then whatever happens, happens, and it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to suck at something, and the only person I'm really competing with is myself. So if I don't even put the effort in, then that's the situation where I could legitimately call myself a loser, and I'll take it and then just move on with it and deal with that. However, I deal with that. um, yeah, so I would say like last year, a couple of my biggest challenges. Um, I was invited to a workshop in Vancouver, and then I was like, like it was one of those things like, wow, that sounds like really cool. And then I thought, man, like I've never been to Vancouver before. I don't know if my car will sustain the drive there, and lodging. Like there was just all these things resisting. But then I'm like, fuck it, like just make it happen. However, I can make it happen. So I put in the effort, and yeah, like it was just like this like interesting wave because like I just felt like I just moved to Calgary and I'm trying to get settled in, and then like 3 months into it, I just kind of get up and go to Vancouver. But it was just for a weekend, so like I mean it wasn't nearly as much, but it's like essentially echoing that experience of going somewhere new, but just for in a condensed event, at like a 3 4 day window, 4 or 5 day window, but the event itself was 3 days. So yeah, and then meeting new people and then just being involved in this conscious dance circle thing that I've kind of experimented with, but this is the first time I actually did like a week and a long event where not doing anything for 3 days, but just this dance event. So it was a really really interesting that opened my eyes and just opened a door to like new possibilities and opportunities, and I'm so grateful that I took that plunge last February. And then another big challenge for me was at the end of the year. I ended up buying a 2002 Jetta that had a manual transmission, and the first week I got it, I was practicing driving stick, and I ended up stalling the car in a residential neighborhood, and there was this truck behind me, and then he just like was kind of just annoyed. He's like, what the hell? This car just stopping in the middle of the road, so he honks at me. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. So my car stalled, and I started back up, and then get it going like very sloppily. I'm like, okay, okay, I'm cool, cool. So I go down the block, I get at a stop sign, and then the truck is like behind me again. And I'm kind of like, okay, just let the clutch out slow, put the gas on a little bit. But then I just didn't put enough gas, stalled the car again. And this truck's like, what the fuck? Starts honking again, just drives beside me, speeds past, like drives past me, looks over, gives me a dirty look, and then speeds away. And I'm just like, I felt so embarrassed. I'm like, so I just, just like, okay, go back home, go back home. And I'm just, after I get back home, I just sit in my car. I'm like, I'm not sure if I get the hang of this. This is just like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is just too hard. And I just felt really bad. So I didn't drive for 2 weeks. And what ended up happening was I was, stuck back to my comfort zone and drove this automatic Civic that I was driving for the past 2 3 years, and then just trying to avoid driving stick, learning stick. And what ended up happening was the temperature severely dropped and the battery in the Civic died. So I had to drive the manual car, and just ended up learning that way, just being forced into the situation. And I think that is a very common occurrence. Like some people will kind of take something on and do a little bit, but then not see the results right away, and they just kind of give up on it. And then, if the variables are lined up in a certain way, they'll just end up being forced to do it, and then just kind of pushed into the swimming pool, so to speak. And sometimes it happens that way, but um, yeah. So that was like my two big challenges in 2016, I would say. And then in 2017, I'm like, trying, or I'm gonna start snowboarding. Been very fortunate. Had some friends who helped me grab the gear. A friend loaned me her snowboard and bindings for the season, and I'm gonna have my first lesson on Thursday. So I've been warned by a lot of people that snowboarding, it has like the learning curve is really tough. Like for the first bit, you're gonna be falling a lot, and it's just your butt's gonna hurt and your knees are gonna hurt. Got to really learn how to fall and break your fall. And there's a lot of people who tried it for the first time and just quit, just outright said, "Okay, I don't like this. This is sucks. I'm not gonna do it anymore." And I don't know. For me, I feel going into it, I've been like really prepared because I've been wanting to do snowboarding for like the past over 10 years. It's been maybe 13 or 14 years, and I just keep on making excuses. Don't have the time, don't have the money. People get injured, and it's hard. No one's gonna teach me, and all these like dumb excuses. But I'm gonna finally do it, and I just have a lot of motivation right now, and I have some skateboarding experience, so I'm confident that it won't be as rough for me starting out. And what I've been doing actually is since I got the snowboard from my friend, whenever I have some free time, I put on my boots and I'll put in the bindings, and then just get familiar with setting that up, and then I'll just stand on the snowboard in my bedroom, and I'm just practicing the like heel toe heel, like leaning on my heels and leaning on my toes, and just getting used to that maneuver. And then I'll close my eyes, I'll like listen to music, and I'll visualize in my mind like the sensations of like going down the hill, feeling like the wind on my face, and then watching the sky and the mountains and the trees in the background and everything, and then just like being in the experience but in my mind. And I feel like that's one of those things, like whenever you're doing something new for the first time, and like you're in that moment where you feel like, oh man, I freaking suck, like I'm never gonna get this, and you're kind of in that mind space, is to bring yourself back to that moment where you first got inspired and motivated to even pursue that thing in the first place. Like, why are you doing this? Like remember, like bring back yourself to the why, because the why is going to be your fuel when times are going to get tough. Whenever you're starting out something new, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like, there's no way around it. If you ask any professional, any master of anything, when they first started out, they sucked. Everyone did. Of course, some people have like a natural inclination, they have natural talent, and they're gonna pick it up much quicker. But everyone has a learning curve, and it's gonna take time to get good at anything. So when that moment of defeat comes, or just like you're getting beat down, again, pull yourself back to that point where you were inspired. Like, yeah, that sounds so cool. That I'm gonna totally do that. That sounds awesome. I want to do that. So that's what's been working for me. And yeah, I'm already over 10 minutes, so I'm gonna have to cut this off at this point. But if anyone wants to share their experiences with something they started and as a beginner they just sucked, how did you push through that, and what was the experience like for you? Please share and comment if you want to. And thank you for tuning in and listening, and I'll see you next week on Articulate Thoughts.